I'm just thinking like an Atlas, 100-ton mech with a hatchet. You know,
well, you're dividing by 5, so that's 20 points of damage.
Serious hacking right there.
That's an Act 20 worth of damage.
Yeah. And he's using a sword. So
yep.
-2.
-2. So he only needs 5s.
So, what do you think, Tarron?
Oh, you want to call it?
You want to go for maybe take the head off? It seems like the sort of a sword thing you do.
Yep.
Hello, welcome to another Alpha Strike We Play video. Hello, Tarron.
Hey, buddy, how we doing?
Good, mate. So we're looking at physical attacks, so weapons that are used in the physical attack phase for BattleTech.
I love this stuff. These are good. These are almost as good as LRMs.
Yeah.
Haha, he said, driving in the night.
So in this video, we're not looking at all of them. We're just going to focus on the hatchet, the sword, and the retractable blade.
Yeah, because the sword and the retractable blade are basically the same thing, but there's like a little bit of extra stuff.
Yeah. So I think the hatchet was that's where we should start, because that was sort of one of the first that was ever made.
Yeah, well, you might want to just say firstly that for physical attack weapons, like normal everyday weapons, a critical hit to any slot for any equipment shown as a physical attack weapon destroys the equipment.
Yeah.
So your hatchets and your swords and your retractable blades, they still take up space, they still take up critical hits, they can still be destroyed by internal damage. Okay, so that's important. So you can shoot the dude's hatchet out of his hand, technically speaking, if you want to.
Very heroic.
Which is kind of cool. It's
kind of in the movies.
Yeah, but basically the bits that we went over with physical attacks for the base level physical attacks still apply. It's all piling skill, all of that. Go back, watch that one. But that's the only extra bit really for physical attack weapons, is that you have an actual weapon, which means you have spaces and critical locations, and it can be destroyed. So bear it in mind. But that said, let's go on to hatchets.
Let's do it, yes. So, what is a hatchet? Well, it's a big axe, basically.
It's basically just a mech-sized axe.
A mech-sized axe. So, if we have a little look on our camera here, so we're going to do a little example, but this is a hatchetman, aptly named. So, 45 tons. We actually used him in the Halloween scenario. It's Jason. So he actually comes equipped with a hatchet.
Yep. There are a few mechs out there, hatchetmen, axemen, night skies, that sort of thing. They all come with
a few now.
Hatchets, yeah. And they're really cool. Yeah. They're really, really good. There's a fair few different types of physical weapons, and they have a physical weapon attack table on page 146 of Total Warfare.
Yeah.
So we're going to put that up now, Pillar.
Ta-da!
There we go.
And we'll adjust your eyes to the hatchet line.
Yes, the hatchet. So they all have their own 2-hit modifiers, damage values, 2-hit location tables, firing arcs, whether or not they're affected by triple strength mimer, which we'll go into in another time, but it's very cool for physical attacks. And whether their 2-hit or damage values are affected by actuated damage.
Yeah.
And that's all listed on that table, and that's basically everything you need to know. So, shall we do hatchets?
Yes.
Hatchets first. The base 2-hit modifier is -1, which is already a cool start.
Yeah, like indeed. Yeah.
Yes.
Probably because it's got a bit of reach to it, bit of size. So
you
can slash.
So they do 1 damage per 5 tons of mech.
Yeah.
What's he, 45?
45.
Yeah. So his hatchet's doing 9 points of damage.
So kick damage. That's nice already.
It's kick damage in your hand. It's very cool. And the cool thing about hatchets that I like, which you can do with swords and retractable blades as well, but which I particularly enjoy with hatchets, is that you can roll normally on your 2-hit location. So you do a normal attack roll, and you roll normally on the location table, or you can call your shot. So you can either hit high or you can sweep low, and you take a +4.
+4 penalty.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's a +4 penalty for that, but you get to pick either the punch or kick location tables, and 9 points of damage on those is pretty funky.
Oh yeah,
It's pretty funky.
Yeah.
So like I was saying in our kicking video, I believe, if you can hit those legs, you can get some good salvage. And in the punch video, if you can get that 6 on the hatchet location, that's 9 points to the head. That's all his armor gone. So it's good.
It is good, yeah.
It's very good.
Plus, damage to the pilot and all that sort of thing. So, but I don't know, even if you decide to do the full body attack,
well, that's it.
It's still worth it.
It's still 9 points of damage. Their firing arc is basically the arm, so you can attack in the forward arc, or you can attack in the arc for that arm.
Yeah. It's quite versatile in that respect too, which is cool.
They are affected by triple strength, which is cool, and they are affected 2 hit and damage by actuated damage, which is not cool.
Yeah, we did talk about that in the intro video to physical weapons and attacks and things like that, so keep in mind.
So that is the hatchet. What we were also going to do is the sword and the retractable blade. So let's bring those two up.
Right.
Because they are basically the same thing.
There's a funny story about the sword, actually.
Ooh, okay.
So let's go to House Kurita, so Draconis Combine. So the warriors there, even though they understood the concept of the hatchet and all that sort of thing, it wasn't very warrior-like. Didn't sort of feel right to them, so they didn't really use them. So they decided to design a sword.
You're in 90 tons of metal. How could it be warrior-like?
No. It's all about questioning honour and all that sort of thing, which is cool. It's their little theme thing.
He's got a PPC.
Well, true, yeah.
There is no honour in PPCs.
So they made the sword. So a bit more elegant and still quite versatile. It has its advantages and disadvantages, but not many disadvantages, really, when you think about it. So,
well, it's doing half the damage of a hatchet.
+1.
I'm sorry, but that's just... No. Well, +1.
+1.
Whiz.
So,
So they do get a better 2-hit modifier, which is cool. They're on a -2 instead of a -1. So
yeah.
There's a bonus for you.
Okay,
right. There's one.
Sort of a guarantee.
They do less damage. All right, so they're doing half the damage. Now, sword gets +1. The retractable blade doesn't get that +1. So as far as I'm concerned, that's a negative. Because if you equip that hatchet man with a sword, then he's doing 6 points of damage instead of his 9. So it's still good, but no. Okay. They still get the 2-hit location table, and they still get to switch it out. So you're still allowed to call your shot. So I guess we'll give them a grudging yes for that one. You can still do hits in the arm arc, so forward and either left or right, depending on which one it is.
Yep.
They both are affected by TSM, so but where the sword is definitely affected by actuator damage, both 2-hit and damage, the retractable blade is not affected by hand actuators, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
That's the one I've got.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it doesn't suffer the +1 penalty because
So
it's mounted on the side. Which comes
so because you're holding the sword in your hand or the hatchet in your hand,
Yep.
then damage to that actuator will make it more difficult for you to use. But the blade that's on the outside that's retractable, it's not affected by that. So
with the hatchets and the swords, you can't swap hands with them as well. So
no.
Everything's designed to be in that hand and that side.
That's a pity,
so,
but
Yeah.
I'm going to make a berserker one at some point and just have 2 big hatchets. Make like a 90-ton one, make it as fast as possible, give it a heap of armor and 2 big hatchets.
So normally you can punch twice, so if you start using like a physical weapon like that, that's the only attack you can do.
Yeah.
But in the case, it's okay. You can put like ranged weapons on the other arm and you're still not going to lose out there.
Yeah, so even if you have like a berserker dude with 2 axes, you're still only able to swing with one of them. It'd still be cool. You're modifying awesome.
Oh, definitely.
All right, so let's say...
I'm just thinking like an Atlas, 100-ton mech with a hatchet. You know,
you're dividing by 5, so that's 20 points of damage.
Serious hacking right there.
That's an Act 20 worth of damage.
Yeah.
And you still roll your piloting roll even if you take 20 damage in the physical attack roll, right?
Yeah.
So in that phase, you take 20 points of damage, you have to make a roll. And that's 20 points of damage just flat, done. If he hits you, 20 points of damage. So not only are you taking 20 points of damage to a single location. If he uses a hatchet and he's got a good pilot, possibly to the head.
Well, that's true, yeah.
Or a leg. But you're also, if you're still surviving, you're going to have to make a piling skill roll for taking that 20 points of damage. So
brutal.
It's brutal. It's cool.
So shall we have a look at let's pick the hatchet, because we've got the hatchetman.
Yeah.
So let's do that, shall we?
An aside before we get too far into these videos is that we don't have minis for all of these physical weapons. I mean, some of them are saws and chainsaws and stuff like that. So we haven't got minis that have those specific weapons on every single time. So we're going to proxy a few of them, but bear with us. So we'll say that...
Okay, so start of a round, it's finished moving.
Yep.
Hatchetman decides to walk. He has a movement of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, which is a +1. All right. So then you go into your shooting phase. So they start firing and firing and firing. So if we have a look at the hatchetman here, I'm going to just cover this up. Hopefully this is clear. So the hatchetman does actually have a medium laser on the same arm
as the hatchet.
Hatchet. So during the weapon attack phase, have to decide whether he wants to forego attacking with the hatchet and use the medium laser. Probably not recommended.
I was going to say, if you are close like that, use that hatchet.
Use the hatchet.
So don't even think about it. Just use the hatchet. Don't fire that laser, just use the hatchet.
Yeah. Yeah. So
which arm are we going to put the sword on the other guy?
I don't know. I wasn't thinking of that. I was just thinking we could just hack away with a hatchet and see what happens.
All right, let's see how the hatchet goes.
All right.
We'll give the other guy a sword though, so yeah.
We'll do it anyway.
Back. Yeah, give
so
it a go.
Modified his mech so he can field one. That's fine.
Yeah,
all right, give him a sword.
Yep.
All right. So the hatchetman will say he gets to do his resolution first. So he decides to attack with his hatchet.
So he's got a -1 to his target number.
So we're assuming that all the pilots are the same. So
all standard,
4 gunnery, 5 piloting. Make it interesting.
And physical attacks are all piloting, so it starts with a 5.
Yep. All right, so 5. He walked, so that's 6. His opponent's movement is 7, and we'll assume that there's no other existing damage or anything like that. So
-1 for a hatchet.
-1 for a hatchet.
Yep.
So that's still pretty reasonable.
So 6s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go, 7.
Nice.
So that's good. Okay. So he has connected. So you look at the weight of the mech. So he is 45 tons.
Yep.
And it's divided by 5 damage. So we worked out before. So that's 9 damage. And that's all in one location. So now we need to roll where we hit. So an 8.
That'll be the left torso.
Left torso to the front. So just like anything else, here we go. Here's our dude. Whoops. Left torso. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There we go. So that's that. So there's no piloting or anything like that. It wasn't 20 points of damage. It wasn't a kick or anything like that. No. So the damage is applied and it didn't go through any armor, so that's fine.
Yep.
All right, so now we'll have our Wolverine attacking back with his modified chassis with a sword
on him. Yep.
All right, so he's a pilot of 5, as we agreed. He walked, so that's 6. Opponent is 7, and he's using a sword. So -2.
-2. So he only needs 5s.
So, what do you think, Tarron?
Do you want to call it?
You want to go for maybe take the head off? It seems like the sort of a sword thing you do.
Yep. So, now I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, no, I am 100% sure. Okay, so you still get the -2 for the sword, but now you have to add 4 for calling the shot.
Yeah.
So what did we get down to? 5?
So it was 7 -2 for the sword.
Is
so
5. Yep, so we're adding 4, so you need a 9 to call your shot.
A 9 to potentially hit the head on a D6.
So you can give it a crack if you like.
Yeah. Let's see. 5. See? You would have got it with a normal attack.
Yep. That as a normal attack that would have hit, but because he called his shot, it got greedy.
But look, alternate reality.
Oh,
got a 9, so it's all good. So now we
what
roll.
damage is he?
He is 55. 55.
Yep. Okay.
So that's
So it's divided by 10s for a sword.
Round it up.
Right, so 6 plus the 1, so
Plus
7.
1 for the sword. Yep. Okay, so
And
we're now
location
rolling
is-
a D6, so we want 6s. We got 5. So pretty close. Pretty close.
Alright, so 5 is on the arm, and it's the right arm.
The right arm.
I think that's where the hatchet is.
Any arm where you hit is the right arm. That's fine. So he's got 20 armor on his arm, so that's fine.
Which
Sorry, this guy here.
Which arm has the hatchet for him?
The arm has the right arm has
Yeah,
it.
I was
And
going to
he's
say, I'm
got
pretty sure they
14.
made them all right-handed, the scum.
Yeah. So yeah, so he'd have enough there to take that damage and not have any critical effects, so that's fine.
But that was a potential for him to break through that armor, get a critical, and kill the guy's hatchet.
Yeah, true.
So,
And considering there is also a medium laser on that location too, so
Yep.
that would be a bonus.
yeah, definitely. It's well worth giving a crack. If you've got the battle value to put something like a Hatchet Man or a Night Sky or an Axe Man or some of the... Is it Lao?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
some of
they
them,
have
a lot of them have swords, I think.
There's there's the, I don't know if it's pronounced correctly, the T-Sang, I think it says that. That's got a hatchet with that triple strength Myomer technology as well, so that's quite a beast.
There's a few.
Quite a beast.
The hatchets and swords are, I think, your base level physical attack sort of weapon.
Yeah.
You can get fancy. We're going to get fancy. We're going to go through and do a couple in each video, and we'll see how we go. But I think those are your base level. If you can find one that's pretty fast, not shy on the armor, and has a hatchet or a sword, I won't begrudge you the sword. Then give them a crack and see how they go, because they are very, very, very cool. Just like we said there, be careful of firing weapons, because if you are close, it's almost always better to use your physical attack weapon than it is to fire the gun that's on that arm. Almost always.
Yeah.
I mean, his medium laser on that arm is 5 points of damage if he hits. It uses his gunnery skill, which is 1 point better, but that hatchet is doing 9 points. You're nearly doubling the amount of damage you're doing, and you've got technically a 4 anyway, because you get a -1 for using hatchet. So why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that's right. They're good fun. I like
Yeah,
them.
I love them. I reckon they're great, and I reckon hatchet every time.
But I mean, I don't know. I mean, the sword still pretty good.
Yeah.
Retractable blade has its benefits as well.
But
So
that hatchet man or the axe man in a close quarters urban type map,
oh yeah,
they kill.
oh yeah,
They just
Yeah.
kill.
yeah,
And if you can fill that, I don't know which hatchet man it has, but one of them has an LBX cannon,
yeah. That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah,
and you can fill that with the cluster ammo, which we're going to do an ammo thing. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. Just scroll down until you find it where we've done it.
when we've done it.
But it basically will pepper them, and you can hit one location really hard for the 9 points of damage, and then you can shotgun them and try and get those criticals, try to get those rolls.
yeah,
It's really good, really good.
yeah. It's not a bad mech actually.
I love
So
it.
that's it. So that's the first 3. There's still some others to look at on that list, so we'll talk about those. But for this video, that's it.
That's the lot.
Thanks,
Yeah.
buddy.
Oh, no worries, man. Let's go.
All right, see ya.
Bye, guys.